Good afternoon, Sawadee Krap, Sabaydi, I hope you're doing well, etc, etc, etc. Hope you're doing well, guys. I went to the shop earlier today and stopped at the market on the way back, get some eggs, and they have some like jumbo eggs. I think there's like 15 jumbo eggs. No, hang on. I think 10. 10 jumbo eggs for 50 baht. They're like zero zeros. They're like -0 or whatever in size. They're huge. So a lot of them have a double yolk inside them, but they're really, really big for 50 baht, which is what's that, about $1.15, and sorry, £1.15, $1.70, something like that for 10 eggs, big ones. Anyway, got them, and I was seeing a van, and I thought, dude, it's a Mitsubishi van. I was just wondering if I wonder if I can make a camper in that. Suzuki makes the Caddy, which is a small little truck. Sorry, the Mitsubishi was a truck. But it's really small, like Japanese small. And but the Suzuki one, the older version, I can get in the cab, but it's uncomfortable. My knee bangs into the steering column, and I can't change gear in it. It's a manual transmission. I think it's 4-speed, 1600 cc. They say it's, it's okay, but don't go more than sort of 60 flat out, 60 miles an hour. So that's like 100 kilometers an hour. But I think 80 or 90 is probably better, because I seen a guy at Macro with one, and he said they like to fuel a little bit. So obviously that's because you're going a little bit fast. 1600, but I'm thinking if you put some weight in that, you're probably only going to be able to do like 80 maximum, 50 miles an hour maximum. But for Thai roads, not on the main highway, for Thai roads, that's fine. But the older ones I couldn't fit in. The new ones I can fit in. The 2025, I seen one at the at a big hardware store in Ayutthaya. I'm trying to don't be so Pacific, because I get tied up in the sidetracked easy. So they had a new one there, and I got in it, much bigger cab. I think like 2 inches deeper, so my legs can stretch out a little bit more. But this Mitsubishi one, have a look at this. It is tiny. I was like, dude, could I build a camper in that? And I'm like, the bed's like maximum 6 foot long, maximum. Well, I'm about, in my day, I think I was like 6'3.5", something like that. It's close to 6'4", but today I don't think I'm that tall. I shrunk. But I think I remember on my ID card it said 187. So I think that's like 6'2" something. Anyway, around that. So I think I'd have to find a way to maybe have a big pillow or something, and then that way I could squash up my legs if I wanted to stretch out. But you know my plan is to, I've got to work some to get monetized again. Once I get monetized on this channel again, I'm going to save that money and buy a vehicle. And I want to build a camper in it and record that so you can see that. And then I'm going to travel in it around Thailand on small roads, so I don't really have to have a big vehicle, but you just have to travel really slow. The trouble with small is, how much water can you carry? Where am I going to shower? I can cook in there, but it's probably cheaper to eat out and easier to eat out. So you can, if you're up in the early morning in a town, you can normally find joke, which is but it's hot. That's like rice porridge but it's really nice. They get ginger and like pork in it and stuff, all different stuff. Anyway, but that's hot. So they'll have AC in the cab, so I have to find the AC, how to have AC in the back. Probably have a little generator so I can sleep, and then during the day it can, but you need a fridge for your food and anything that's gonna go bad or whatever, fruits, because it'll be like crazy hot in the back. So anything you have has to be able to, I mean, even talk about toothpaste, put it in the fridge, because otherwise it will turn to liquid. You know, when it's like 100 Fahrenheit, 35 plus or more, 40, whatever it's going to get in the back. I guess I could put a roof fan in so that a solar roof fan. So when it got hot, the fan would spin. That's a good idea. Anyway, a lot to think about, but I thought, if I got one of the small vans like that, I could go out, I could get it and start building faster. What do you think? What I mean is, I can afford to buy it earlier because it'll be smaller and maybe an older version. I don't know, but it's got to have a box in the back, and then the rest I can build myself. Put a small sink in. I think wastewater, you're talking about like a hand basin, which you can rinse out and throw it in the bushes, right? Nobody's going to say nothing about that. Have a wash each day in that. But the shower, I need to find a place to shower. So garden, maybe use a hose in the petrol station, in the gas station. Anyway, Mr. Hobo will figure it out. What's that guy's name? Steve Wallace, who camps all over the place. So I'll be in competition with him. Anyway, one day when this channel's monetized again, I can start saving for a vehicle, and then I'll record it and travel, and we can then together I'll share my journeys. I'll get a couple GoPros and you can watch me build it, and then while I'm traveling I'll record what I'm doing each day, and don't have to worry about immigration. Just stay in my van, and then when I come home they won't even know I've been missing. The Great Escape. What do you think? The Great Escape. That's what I'll call it, huh? I should name this video The Great Escape. How to escape. Build a van. I keep walking on these little tuffets of grass that pop up because of rainy season. I keep thinking I'm standing on a bird or something because it's soft. Yeah, that's what I'm going to call this video, The Great Escape. And you guys are going to help me buy the van when I can get monetized. I'll save that money, buy a vehicle. I don't know what it's going to cost. I've seen some advertised bigger vehicles for like 100,000 baht, which will be about $3,000. So that's like 2,400 pounds, something like that. And the rest I think will be minimal. Once I got the vehicle, I think I can cope with the rest by myself. And then we're off. The Great Escape. I love that. Okay guys, until next time, buckets of blessings, rivers of peace, joy, and kindness. See you later.